try!
Dave, how is the relatively short turnaround of Thursday night game?
Yeah, good. I mean, obviously it's a challenge. I don't think it's ever been done in Super Rugby before, so from that perspective it's a challenge. But the thing for us is, I think we're a bit scratchy after Saturday night. We're a bit frustrated with the fact that we didn't win the game. We let ourselves down, I think, in some areas. And so the nice thing is that there's a short turnaround. We get some chance for redemption early without having to sit with it for 7 days. So I guess there's an upside as well.
So there were some good signs, but then sort of fell away in the second half. How did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I just think we didn't close the game out as we should. The conditions were very difficult, but there's one moment where we're in their 22, we give away a penalty, they kick to the line out, we give away another penalty, they kick to the line out again. They've gone 22 to 22. They move the length of the field and they haven't touched the ball. And that's the sort of frustrating stuff. Like, we're not going to win Super Rugby if we do those sort of things. And so we've been pretty honest as a group this week together, and I think a real credit to the boys is they're actually really genuinely hurting after that game. So we want to come out tomorrow night and sort of redeem ourselves, I guess.
These guys probably wanted you to talk through the changes you've made to the team.
Yeah, I mean, because of the short turnaround, we knew there had to be some changes, and we felt that Ben Daly coming in against his old team would be good for him, and he's pretty fired up about that. And then we've gone with Ross Halapeti at 6, which probably just gives us another jumping option in our back row at line-out time, and a little bit of extra weight in the pack, because we know that Nick Stiles is predominantly a set-piece coach, so we expect the Reds to focus on their set-piece and use that as part of their game. So we obviously want to aim to try and take that away from them.
I was going to ask about the back row. That's specifically though what it is the line-out rather than targeting them the way you targeted the Tars and try and stop that inside channel ball to 10.
Yeah, I mean, my thinking about that is if you look at the sort of prominent figure in the Waratahs setup, he's an attack coach, a backs coach, and so we felt that the Waratahs would play a little bit more off the top of their line out and different things, whereas we feel that the Reds, with their head coach being a forwards coach predominantly, that their set piece will be more important to them. So we've probably picked a more of a pack that focuses on being able to contest and be competitive at set piece time, dominate at set piece time.
Now, a few years ago, you'll remember this, when Nick Stiles came up with the plan to frustrate Guinea, which almost caused a riot on the pitch. He didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he might try and come up with something like that? He won't have gone and noticed how quick Ryan is off the ground, Ryan Laren's off the ground, and how he's linked with Jono. Do you think he may be having a look at target?
Yeah, I mean, Nick, to be honest, like we felt in Sydney we didn't get our game started. Like, the conditions just didn't allow for that. So to think too much about what the Reds are going to do, like, we know we've got to pick the right players to be competitive. But after that, we've got to play our game plan. And so, I think if they're overly worrying about our players, then that's a good thing for us. That's a distraction for them, and we're here to play. So
another challenge for Curtis as well.
Yeah, well, I thought Curtis was great. I mean, I thought that centre pairing in general was great. The nice thing about Curtis is there was a fair bit of pressure on him from the Sydney media. As he was kind of on the back pages and things there in his matchup with Falau, and he comes down to breakfast just relaxed and smiling, and that shows experience. That's a guy who just wasn't rattled by the attention at all, and so that's a really good sign. I mean, he's fairly new to Super Rugby, but he's played a lot of top level rugby, and that showed in his whole approach to the game, and I thought he played well.
Different type of player in Samu.
Yeah, different type of player. I mean, there's going to be some challenges on both sides of the coin there. I mean, as an attacking player, Curtis is going to provide Samu some challenges as well. So that's going to be a good matchup. One of the many good matchups, I think, tomorrow night.
Saw your quotes yesterday urging fans to come out in huge numbers. Can you just give us a bit more detail about that?
Yeah, I mean, we feel like there's obviously some discussion about our future in Super Rugby, and I think one of the ways to put a marker in the sand and to make a point to everybody who's part of those discussions is to get people out here in numbers, and that means not only for force supporters, but if you want to keep Super Rugby in West Australia, whether you support the force or not, you should come tomorrow night, and in fact you should bring a friend, because that's what's really going to matter at the end of the day is the decision makers seeing the appetite for Super Rugby in this state.
We saw in the early years there are a lot of fans that have kind of gone into the woodworks now. How do you draw them back in? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the early years we averaged 28,000 people a game, and in 2014 when we had our most successful season, we have had bigger average crowds than both the Brumbies and the Waratahs. So the appetite for rugby is here, and I think my role is to try and get the on-field performances to an acceptable level, and to make those people want to support us and be proud of us. So that's what I'm focused on.
That weight of responsibility on your shoulders to get those on-field results, how does that sit with you?
I think every coach in the comp's got responsibility to get on-field results. So the added responsibility is, the pressure's there whether you like it or not. But I'm enjoying the role, and I think I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
And turning Nib Stadium into a fortress, how important is that?
Yeah, every team wants to win at home, and although we didn't win in Sydney last week, we did come away with a bonus point from a potentially tricky trip. And the important thing for us now is to try and get the first win at home. But more than that, I think we want to play the style of rugby and the type of rugby with the intent that our fans are proud of, and that's what we've said all along. So the result is a really big deal, but almost more than that is the intent and the way that we try to play that makes people at West Australia proud of us.
So a bit of a curly one. James O'Connor's been in the news. Toulon have said they won't renew his contract. He's a player, given that he's played here before, that you have a look at?
Yeah, I've only met James very briefly once, probably at the Brisbane Tens, actually very briefly. So I don't really know him. I mean, what I do know about him is he's an unbelievable rugby player. So he seems to have landed himself in hot water. But it would be very unfair for me to comment any further than that. I hope he gets himself sort of sorted out.
So you haven't had any contact with him at the club? That
No.
Could there be any scope to bring him in this season or anything like that?
No, that's not something we're looking at the moment, Chatters. And it's not because I don't rate James. I just think I'm very happy with where the squad is at. So.
Do you think someone will give him a chance in Super Rugby?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it'd be really sad if a guy of his potential at his age gets lost to rugby. So I think he obviously needs someone to put his arm around him a bit and help him out.